Hello, everyone, and welcome to another scene for Darkness in Dublin, the Werewolf, the Apocalypse venue. In this scene, we are going to begin in a different part of Ireland, a little farther south than what Dublin is, with a woman who has just suffered some tragedy, and she is now trying to figure out what to do next.
Sim sort of paces around this family style smallish living room. She has her hair tied back. She looks pretty stressed out. And she seems like she's waiting on someone to arrive.
And she doesn't have to wait very long. Her sister shows up. She doesn't even say anything to her. She just gives her a big hug. And pulls her to the couch to sit down.
Sim greets her, and as her sister gets close enough, she can see, blood, tear-stained eyes, bloodshot eyes. You can see circles under her bloodshot eyes that sort of tell her that Sim hasn't gotten very much sleep. I mean, it's expected. She's wearing a comfortable sweatshirt that looks like she's been huddled up in it all night, and there's tissues around.
Claire's demeanor is much the same. She has circles under her eyes as well. They're a bit bloodshot. There are unshed tears shining in her eyes. Like she's trying to be very strong, but probably failing.
Sim sits on the couch, and she gives her sister another big hug, sort of like the recognition of two people who are going through something really awful. And it's the shared experience that binds you, along with something closer even than family ties can bind you. And she just looks at her sister, and I'm sorry, but I think I need to go.
She nods.
I can't sit there and look at the mums knowing what. I just can't. And I can't get vengeance, I couldn't do it yet. I'm not. I left them right.
I do. Which I'm glad you did.
If I stayed, I was going to either die or kill someone, which I should have.
No, because you don't have any evidence that they've done anything wrong.
He killed them, I know he did.
She nods. I know. I believe you. But you know how things work around here, and the reputation they have, it's not going to stand up. Not yet.
I know. She sort of takes a deep breath, shudders a little bit, but seems to stabilize her.
Claire's accent is sort of a mix between Irish and French, but it's not one that I can actually do. So it's more of a soft Irish is what I'm attempting.
That's all right. I'll never tell.
And actually, probably between the two of them, they're probably speaking French, but we're not going to do that because I don't speak French, and that would just be rude for the audience. So,
I know. So there's also a part of our family that needs to know what happened. They need to know the real price that we paid. They need to know what was done to us and to them.
you've never met them, have you?
No. Not really.
Just be careful. But I know that Mama would want you to go and tell them, even though she can't say it right now.
I know. As much as Mum and Mama need this, and as much as you and I need this, Corin deserves this.
She nods. He does.
And we deserve not to have to live in the shadow of those. I'm not even going to call them people. I can't. Of those things.
Monsters. Monsters.
I cannot sit here and make our family have to live with those things.
Do you want me to come with you?
I think if you came with me, as much as I'd love it, I think the mums need you. I'd stay if I could, but I can't. If I stay any longer.
No, you're right, because Mama Tove is in no shape to, and Mama's, she just shakes her head. They're both.
And Sim just sort of puts her hand on Claire's shoulder. Look, here's the plan, alright? I'm going to go there. I'm going to start. I'm going to get situated, right? When I can, as soon as I can, and not a moment later, I'm going to move all of you over there to the new set.
Okay.
I won't stand for any of my family living in the shadows of these monsters. Not longer than you absolutely have to. I need to get Mama Tove away from this. If there's any hope of her leaving Toronto.
Claire just nods, and the tears that she was holding back do make their way out of her eyes and down her cheeks. I hate seeing her like this, you know.
I'm so sorry. I never wanted to leave you alone with them. I wanted to help you.
Hey, no. Shh, shh. She puts her hand on her cheek. It's okay. You have to go, and you have to tell them, because who else is going to? And it should be you.
It should have been me. Corin didn't deserve that.
It's not quite a happy family reunion, is it?
It doesn't have to be happy. It just has to be right and true. I will do whatever it takes to bring them to justice.
She gives her a bit of a smile at that. You might be a glass walker, but you've not lost your Fiona passion.
I don't think I could lose that if I tried.
No. She shakes her head. No, I don't think you could.
And I wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't want you to either. You wouldn't be my sister.
It's part of what makes us strong, what makes us ourselves. It's part of our family. We're tough as nails.
We are.
I'm going to see this through, Claire.
I know you are, Sim. I don't. I don't expect anything less out of you.
I'll keep in contact, you know.
You better, or I'll come hunt you down.
Good, if I ever get out of contact, you better hunt me down.
I will. I'm a ragabash. It's what I do.
Because if I'm in trouble, I'm really in trouble. I'm around, you know, that's what I do.
Yeah, I know.
It breaks my heart to leave all of you. Especially after what we all just got going through.
We won't be apart long.
No, we won't. Not if I have anything to say about it. But the truth needs to be spoken. And it needs to be known by the nation.
What sept are you going to again?
Forgotten stories.
Her eyes go a little wide.
Sim's face very much gives away the gravity that she really understands the gravity of what she just said. I swear they are.
It's,
I'm going to do whatever it takes to get this done, to see this through. I don't care where I have to go. I don't care what shite I have to wade through.
it's just two of the greatest Fiona Philodoxes are at that sept. One's the alpha and one's the truth catcher.
She nods.
So it's probably a good thing that that's where you're going. If you can get them to listen and believe in you, then we can get justice for what happened to Corin.
At least need to get there first.
Yeah, you do. Which means you should probably leave sooner rather than later, as much as I hate to say that.
I've got movers coming over shortly after I leave. And bring out the rest of my stuff. I've got a little apartment.
Okay. I'll
You
make
know,
sure they get everything.
my work is online, so I can take that with me wherever.
She nods. I know.
Sim takes Claire's hands in both of hers. I promise I'm not leaving you. High and dry. As soon as I get established, as soon as I can bring you, all of you, over, I'm not leaving a single one of you here.
She nods. I know. I wouldn't think for a second that you would just disappear. You're
No,
not like that.
I need you to know, right?
She wraps her arms around her.
Sim hugs her really tightly.
I love you.
I love you. Since we're what we've got, we'll have to stick together, right?
Yeah, of course. We have to. Family. We're honestly the best kind of family because we kind of chose each other. Well, our moms chose each other, but
I know we've fought before, but I'd still choose you as my sister every time.
I would choose you
No,
too.
no better person to fight with.
She kisses her on the forehead.
She just sort of leans on her sister. You remember the time I made my own treehouse? Just a little wee thing. And I ran away there thinking that I was mad at the mums and mad at the world. And no one was ever going to find me. I was going to be gone forever. And I
I
couldn't.
remember.
There was not a path I could take that you would not find me on. And it pissed me off something fierce.
Yeah, I tried to bring you sandwiches, but you were just mad.
Well, I mean, you know how that goes, I guess. There's no
Well, you are in a room that comes from the Fiona. So yeah.
She just sort of nods her head like, yeah.
Yeah, you being pissed off about something was kind of a par for the course, but you know how much I enjoyed just pushing your buttons.
Oh, I know. For the time you took that little glass thing, I mean, it was stupid, right? But you were so mad. I don't know what I did. I think I was pissed and I just did something to make you mad at me.
Yeah, which was kind of a flip
Right,
because
right.
usually I was the one making you mad.
You did. You pissed me off enough to make me want to make you pissed off.
And then we were just both pissed off, and our mums were not happy that day.
No, I don't think anyone was.
No, not even Corin.
I remember if Luke's could have killed, we would have killed each other from across the table. And Corin just hands us bread and butter, like, do you want some more?
He was so cute with the way he said it too. I think that that's what broke the tension. We just couldn't help but laugh.
One of the mums laughed, and that's what made everyone start laughing. I was the last to laugh, I will have you know.
You will always have the last laugh, won't you, Sim?
Well, it's not that. I wasn't going to give in until I absolutely had to. No one's going to make me laugh, and then all of you fuckers did.
No. How old were we then? Like 11, 12?
I believe I was 11.9.
Oh, and I was 12, right?
Right.
So then, like, what, 6 months older than you or something?
Something like that. I always said no. I was closer, and you're like, no, you were farther. Doesn't really matter, but no.
No.
I'm gonna miss God. I already miss him so much.
I do too. I do too.
You know, if you ever need me, I'm there, right? No matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing.
I know. And I am too. You get in any sort of trouble or whatever, you let me know and I will be there as fast as I can get there.
She nods. And she reaches into her pocket and takes out her little pocket knife, and she makes a small cut in her hand. I swear I'll always be there for you. And she hands her sister the knife.
She smiles and takes it. This is not the first time they've made these blood oaths. She cuts her hand and she takes her sister's hand, mixing their blood together.
Sim holds her sister's hand close and she says, I swear by the blood, I'll always be there for you no matter what.
And I swear by the blood that I will always be there for you no matter what.
She puts her forehead to her sister's and then just hugs her tight again.
Yep. She does the same.
Alright. Let's all go now. I'll either fall to pieces again, or I'll be out hunting blood. So
All right. I'll let them. I'll let our moms know that you've gone. I'm not gonna have you look at them again.
Here, and she sort of leans over, and she's got a Space Invaders backpack.
Mm-hmm.
And she unzips the front pocket and takes out a piece of paper, and it's folded in a way like I'm sure people listening would remember folding notes in high school in interesting ways with different folds to make them look weird or make them look at different shapes.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
This one is in like a star pattern, and the tabs to pull it open says for mums.
Oh.
And she hands it to Claire. Just so you don't have to worry about explaining anything. I wrote a goodbye, basically, like a goodbye for now. Just telling them that we need a place to start over, you know. We need a better start. We need to move away from all the sadness and awfulness. And so I'm going to go looking for a new place. That's what it says.
Okay.
But I didn't want you to have to sit there and try to figure out how to explain things. There's she gives Claire a look. There's nothing in here that should let anyone know the other reasons why I left.
Okay. Good. Because she doesn't even say it. She just gives her a knowing glance, like.
Yeah. Sim nods.
And I'll keep my ears open on that front and let you know what they say if they say anything.
All right. One more thing, if you can. If there's anyone else who's been hurt by them, anyone else been targeted,
I'll find
I'd
out.
like to know that too.
Of course. I'll find out, because if we can find even just one other person that is willing to speak out
I don't
about
even need them to speak out. They can remain anonymous if it'll keep them safe. I don't want anyone else happen to uproot their lives for the monsters that did this to Corin.
She nods. Of course.
But if I can prove, I mean, if they did this to Corin, there's got to be someone else, either in the past or in the future. And I can't let it happen. Not on my conscience. Not when I can do something about it.
She'll nod. I completely understand.
All right. I love you.
I love you too. Please be careful and let me know when you get there.
I will. I'll text you.
Good.
I mean, I prefer a page, but the beeper things went out of style a long time ago.
She rolls her eyes and shakes her head. She's like, "What year were you actually born? I can't even with you."
Sim just sort of chuckles, you know, runs the top and finger of her cut hand across the bottom of her nose just to wipe off any the snot from the snot crying.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I can't help it if I was born in the wrong century. If I was born, I can't help it. I should have been born in the 70s so I could grow up in the 80s. All right, it's
I
not.
know. Like you were just born in the wrong decade. You should have been born 20 years earlier.
I know. It's all right. I'm gonna bring it back. I'm going to make pinball
So
machines.
you want you what?
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
uh, I mean, pinball's cool.
See, I'm already got a good start.
Oh, right. Because it's really hard to convince me. Come on now.
I didn't say it was a difficult start. Okay, I never said it was a hard thing to do. That's just something I got to do.
She like kind of pushes her like, all right, go, or you're just gonna sit here and talk to me and give me shit and vice versa for the rest of our days, and you're never gonna go anywhere.
Or grow old on this couch, old cat ladies. I can
mean,
see it now. I'm going to my hands will grow into my Game Boy.
You are never going to have a cat, not with your demeanor.
I know, but I can be a headman.
Cats attack you.
I know they don't like me. I never said it'd be a great relationship.
That's why I had to move out so that I could have a cat.
Hope you're happy with your feline.
I am. I'm very happy with him.
Good. He'd be in his own little house in his own little corner. Way over there.
He's very spoiled. Bye.
Alright, I'm going.
Go.
She gets up and she kisses her sister on the cheek and gives her one last really tight hug for goodbye, slinging her Space Invaders backpack over her shoulder.
So good.
She takes out her Sony Walkman. That's right, listeners. Her Sony Walkman. Puts in a Joan Jett tape and puts on these ridiculous headphones, this ridiculous headset or whatever, and steps out.
Claire just kind of chuckles at her as she walks out. And yeah, Sim will make her way to Dublin. It's not a terribly long journey if she chooses to take regular means of transportation. However, as an Arun, she does make people uncomfortable. So if she takes a bus or a train up to Dublin, she's definitely going to have an entire row of seats to herself.
Which suits Sim just fine. She is way,
Well,
way
people are
into her.
opting to like sandwich in next to each other across from her or stand even though there's seats next to her. They just don't want to be anywhere near her.
She turned the volume on her Walkman is up so loud that other people can hear that she's listening to Joan Jett and that she doesn't give a fuck. And she is way deep into her Zelda game on her Game Boy.
That's amazing. So yeah, she spends a few hours playing Zelda on her Game Boy. Yeah, on her Game Boy. And she knows that the sept itself is outside of Dublin, so she knows that the stop that she's going to get off at is in is closer to the outskirts of town rather than going all the way into the city.
Right.
And then she's got a bit of a walk. Well, she can actually take a bus from the train station, from that train stop to the entrance of the national park where the sept is located. Then she has to walk from the entrance to the bottom of the sept, which doesn't take that long. And she actually like can kind of guess where to go. It's almost like there's an innate path that Garu just know where to go once they get there.
She makes her way there, switching out the Joan Jett tape for a Journey tape. And she starts listening to like 2 songs from Journey, and then she just puts it back and just sort of shakes her head, and then puts Bon Jovi in instead. Slippery When Wet, of course. The best album in her opinion.
Of course.
And just in her little combat boots, making her way to the sept. She follows that innate ability or that innate feeling of being drawn somewhere, and she sort of walks with the air of someone who can take care of herself. Although she slips the headphones off of her ears the second that she's not in basically around public people. So she has the music sort of going, but she wants to make sure that she can hear anyone or anything. Maybe the attack on her brother or whatever has made her kind of paranoid, a little uneasy, especially when she's by herself. So she tends to listen more. She tends to be more wary.
Yeah, the only thing that she kind of gets from that is like their prey animals that run the fuck away when she approaches, and there aren't on the way from like the public entrance to where you go to get to the bottom of the sept. There weren't a whole lot of humans out and about. It is getting a little bit later in the evening, so the whatever crowd would have been there during the day just has already dissipated. as it gets colder. So you make it to the barn. What do you do?
Once she gets to just outside the sept, making sure that there aren't, there obviously isn't anyone around that's gonna find it weird when she makes the howl, that, she's standing at the edge of the sept waiting to be accepted in as per their
Yeah, I imagine she says who she is and all that junk, right?
yeah.
All right. She is going to see this man approach. And he kind of like squints his eyes at her, and she can tell that he is extremely Fiona.
She the way that Sim was raised was and the sept she was raised in was very traditional, and she knew exactly what to do, and she would kneel and sort of bare her throat to the warder of the sept.
Oh, hello there, little lass. Where might you be hailing from? Forgotten Stories. Oh, that sept. I don't know.
So for the listeners at home, player of Symphony has forgotten the sept that Symphony grew up in. So we're going to continue the scene now.
Yeah.
I hail from the sept of, and she sort of swallows, remembering, like, even saying the name of the sept sort of just brings up some memories. And she says, I hail from the sept of Pegasus Grace.
Oh, that's the joint Black Fury Fiona sept, right?
Aye, that's right.
But you're Glasswalker.
I am.
Why?
I cannot help but be what and who I am. But I do have intertribal fosterage with the Fiona. My
Oh, I
mother.
know. I know that. I can tell it on you. That you were born as a Fiona.
I was.
And what brings you to here, to Forgotten Stories, to Dublin?
I have family that needs to know a heavy truth. I have news, and I wish to relocate, hopefully, and in the end, mine and my own.
Kind of blinks. Family. What family?
Hold on a second. My father was Colin O'Brien, and I'm here to tell him and my half sister Saoirse about what happened. And I'm sorry, but I won't say it before I'm in their presence. They need to be the first to know.
He holds his hand up. His eyes widened a bit. He kind of looks her over. I do kind of look like Saoirse. Huh.
I've not ever met in person before. You should know that.
Uh, all families have their secrets. I'm Lorcan McFinn, son of Bron McFinn, Ardrai of the Fiona. My dad and I don't quite get along anymore.
I believe that stuff's the stuff of legends. Sort of chuckles.
What, that my dad and I don't get along?
Oh, your fights
No.
are well known, I should say.
Well, he wasn't none too happy that I sided with Karen Donovan and come here with him to start the sept. So, nah.
It's always been with us, the Fianna, to do what is in our blood to do. We follow our hearts and we're passionate about it. We follow our passions.
You say we as if you're still Fiona.
I'm bold. I've always considered myself bold.
He'll nod. All
Fiona's not
right.
a choice to be Glasswalker because that's what I am and part of who I am. But Fiona's still my blood.
I suppose I can respect that. Uh, your Saoirse's packmate is sort of the opposite. She was born a glasswalker and joined the Fiona.
Well, that'll be
She's
an
also
interesting.
she's also a full moon, like you and I.
That will be a very interesting meeting.
Aye, it will. All right, let me get you cleansed and get you in here, and I'll howl for Saoirse.
She sort of takes that as um him accepting her, and she sort of stands up and is able to look him in the eyes.
Yeah, I forgot she was on her knees. It was funny. Did that with her.
He was just like, I'm just gonna talk to you, and she's just like, I'm saying all this staring at the ground.
Yep. And when she does look up at him and he can see her face, he goes, oh, you do look like Saoirse. Well, this is going to be fun.
She sort of half smirks and puts her Walkman away.
So yeah, he cleanses her and like kind of leads her into uh, a little bit farther into the bonds so that they're not right on the border, and then he'll howl for Saoirse, which she will appear momentarily as she comes up. She comes up to them and she smiles to Lorcan and and she nods to the newcomer, like just not even like, oh, huh, a new person, but she looks like kind of
Saoirse looks at her, but there's like no recognition in her eyes. It's very clear to Lorcan that these two have never seen each other, never met, never spoken in their entire lives.
nope,
But it's also clear that Saoirse's not sorry. It's also clear that Sim has been through some stuff.
right. But she addresses Lorcan first as he is her elder, and she'll say to him, "Oh, you had need of me?" And he nods, and she tries to show throat, and he just kind of waves her off, and he points to Sim. There's stuff that the two of you need to talk about. And Saoirse furrows her brow and looks to her. Oh, okay. Uh, well, and she'll turn to Sim, and Lorcan kind of steps back, but he stays to watch.
Right.
Um,
See the fireworks.
and she'll say,
Or whatever.
okay, you are new here, I'm assuming, because I've never seen you before. I am Saoirse O'Brien Donovan. DiD screams the Huntsman's Fury. I am a Hamid-born Adrian of the Fiona and a Galliard.
Sorry, she sort of just pauses, and it seems for like the first time, at least, this is something Sim is very unused to. She's just kind of lost for words for a second because the two do look very, very similar.
Like, now I'm looking at them side by side. I'm like, whoa.
Right? Like even though Symphony has never seen Saoirse in person, she kind of recognizes her as family. Like just the look about them. And she says in sort of a grave tone, and she's got a very serious look on her face. I am Symphony Moreau, DiD Throwback. I am a Hamid born around Cleath of the Nation. I am a glassworker, though I was born a Fianna.
I see. And what brings you here? Why do you need to talk to me?
Moreau is my mother's name. You have my dad's.
What? It's clear she's never been told.
Symphony just sort of blinks a second. I see.
What are you talking about?
I'm saying I'm your half sister. And that you've got a whole nother half part of the family. We're connected through our father, Colin O'Brien.
Oh, aye, that's my dad.
My dad too.
Oh, okay. That's. I wonder why they never said anything.
It was more. Your and my dad was doing his duty as
As kinfolk.
As a kinfolk to the nation, and he and me mum were friends as well.
She kind of racks her brain because she does have eidetic memory. You say your last name's Moreau? I do remember Da mentioning Tove.
That was my other mum.
Okay. So I didn't know that they had a child, but she shrugs.
They have 3.
Oh.
And that's part of what I came to tell you. Is our dad
He's at home. I'd have to take you there.
Symphony nods.
My mom's probably there too.
As much of the family as you feel you can gather, they need to be there. I have some very important news.
Then I will probably get a Nathan. He's our cousin, my husband, and his brother, and their father, who is the Alpha of the Sept. Okay. She loses herself for a moment, which Sim would absolutely recognize as a pack link. That she's talking to Liam and Nathan because they are both in her pack. To meet
losing herself. The other werewolf who's there, I forgot his name.
Lorcan.
Lorcan would see a sort of recognition in Sim's face, and her face would just kind of fall as she was reminded of a thing that she used to have but doesn't anymore.
Yeah, he kind of gives her a sympathetic look, like he understands that he's been through pack loss himself. And ironically, so is Saoirse. But she's busy pack linking right now to see that look.
It's fine. It is entirely wiped off of Sim's face by the time Saoirse comes back to herself.
Yeah, Lorcan will just move away. He's just like, all right, you will definitely have some grave business to attend to. So I'll leave you to it, and we'll talk to you later. And
Sim will nod. Thank you for the rite of cleansing and for accepting me onto your set.
Of course. I hope to see you around.
She nods. Oh, I'll be around. I plan on being here for a little while at least, for hopefully the foreseeable future.
So, yeah, she basically pack links Liam and Nathan to let them know that they are needed at her parents' house, and to bring Finn and Kieran. And then she will pull out her phone and she will text her parents.
This is sort of a cue, and Sim pulls out her own phone and texts her sister to let her know that she made it safe and that she's on set, or that she's there safely and accepted.
Cool.
She won't put anything more than that into text, obviously.
Right. Claire will just send back that she's glad that she made it safe and that their moms are sleeping finally.
She texts back about to have meeting with the extended fam.
And she gets back a good luck and let me know how it goes.
In sort of a ironic, like, inside joke, Sim sends back just a little emoji of a 3-leaf clover or a 4-leaf clover.
That is adorable. So yeah, Saoirse is texting back and forth with her mom, and they're kind of like having the little not really a squabble, but Saoirse is just like, that would have been nice for you to tell me this, like, I don't know, any time in the last 28 years. Like,
right. Some sort of puts her phone back, and her it's like it's a regular phone, but the case makes it look like a Nintendo controller. And so she just puts this Nintendo controller looking thing, old school Nintendo controller looking phone, like in a pocket somewhere, and she just sort of stands there and it's very polite.
Saoirse catches that out of her peripheral and she goes, "What is that?"
Oh, it's a phone case. I was sort of bored in 20 years too late for my time, I bet.
So you're one of those retro glasswalkers.
Oh, you've got no idea. I'll have to introduce you to my pinball machines.
Oh, I love playing pinball. Uh, Once we get this family business taken care of, I will introduce you to the right master of the sept. He is a his deed name is Retro Healer. He's a glasswalker Thayerch. And he's a lot older than we are, but he is definitely on the retro side of things. Um, but we're all clear to go. So whenever you want, uh, I can take you to meet everybody. This has to be overwhelming for you.
She sort of gives her this look, like, and it's sort of it's not that it's intentional necessarily, but it definitely belies her as a sort of survivor, as someone who just perseveres. And she
Yeah,
says,
Saoirse, funnily enough, exudes that exact same energy.
um,
Like she's someone that's been through some shit, but she's still here and making the best of it.
uh, Symphony sort of looks at her and she says, "Overwhelming or not, it was about feckin' time."
I agree with that. Had I known that you existed anytime before now, I would have insisted on, trying to meet you or something because I've been an only child my entire life. I didn't know
Oh,
I had a
I've got.
sibling.
I can't wait for you to meet Claire.
Who's Claire?
Claire's your other half sister.
Uh, well, out of character, Claire's actually not
I know,
related, but
I know.
yeah.
Well,
Oh,
she's
okay.
my sister and I'm your half sister, but you two aren't related by blood except through me. Sim
That
sort
still
of,
makes, I guess that would still make her my sister by proxy, right?
I
Mm.
at least I hope so, because she's pretty great.
I always wanted siblings. The most I got was my cousin, but which we're really close and I adore him, but uh, she kind of tears up a little bit. Uh, I guess
Hey,
better late than never, huh?
it'll be all right. We've not had the time to get into those family fights. You've never destroyed something precious to me. It's all right.
Not yet.
Not
I
yet. There's
promise
still.
you one. I promise you one day I probably will. I've got a temper.
Oh, that's a hell of a promise.
It'll be like your favorite shot glass or something.
Don't touch Big Bertha.
Oh, you do have a favorite shot glass. You're my sister. All right, let's go.
She sort of just nods and there's a smile on her face, like, she knows that this is really tough for Sim, but she's a tough gal. So
So you're just kind of shell shocked, like she had no idea, like, and now she's come to tell her some news, so she's just kind of bracing herself and trying to make the best of the situation and trying not to be too about anything. But she is a bit upset at her parents for sure.
yeah, and Sim is obviously like making awkward retro jokes
The whole
all
time.
the way there.
So yeah, they're gonna get there. Um, and the house isn't like it's not like huge or anything, but it's a nice house. And it's just on it's like it's not quite inside the city. It's like more on the outskirts in a suburby type area. Um, so but it's a nice house. And the car that Saoirse's driving is a fairly nice sedan. She notices that there's a car seat in the back for a uh, someone that's just a bit older than a toddler, maybe. So if she wants to ask any questions on the way. In Saoirse's car, yeah.
Sim will look back. Have you got a wee one?
Oh, I do. Her name's Jamie. She's 3.5.
I look forward to meeting her.
I will.
I only know our beginnings. I've not been able to really keep up, or you probably would have heard of me by now.
You'll meet her probably tonight. Finn should be bringing her because he had her while I was doing some stuff I needed to do at Sept.
Look,
So.
I know that you're probably pretty angry at not being told, and I would be as well.
I don't blame you at all.
No, I know, but it looked like Sim was looking for some words.
Mm-hmm.
The news I have to bear is pretty dire, and we need to be together as a family so that we can all be stronger.
Of course. And I'm not going to press you to tell me before we get there because I feel like it's something that I should hear with everybody else, as I'm sure that you do as well. So,
just try not to be too hard on your mum. You know?
She'll nod, of course.
Sim just sort of nods, like she understands. She understands exactly Saoirse's anger. Oh boy, does Sim get the Fiona rage. But
yeah, and as a Galliard, she has almost as much rage as Sim does, so it's like
right.
But so yeah, they get there. She pulls up to the house. And she parks the car and turns off the engine. She doesn't quite get out yet. She takes a very deep breath. Okay. Do you listen to Irish music?
I listen to a lot of things, though mostly more traditional styles a bit, I guess.
Well, okay then. You're gonna you're gonna recognize someone that's gonna be here. Liam Donovan is my packmate and my brother-in-law, and she would recognize Liam Donovan as a famous Irish folk singer.
Oh, shite! I like a few of his songs. I mean, they're not all my style. I'm more of a 80s
Yeah,
rock.
he's got some that's more traditional and some that's like rock traditional infusion. Like he's got a few different types of music that he does. It's like he's experimented with different styles throughout his career. But yeah, she would know who he is for sure.
Her eyebrows just sort of, raise, and she's like, well, shite. Not. I was barely prepared to meet all of you, let alone someone who gets paid for his singing talents.
Right. And yeah. I just wanted to warn you ahead of time so that you didn't so they weren't slapped in the face with that when you see him.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Because when I first met him, which is a long time ago, but I kind of offend
Now,
you a little bit.
place Joan Jett in front of me, and I'll be beside myself.
I mean, I could probably do that.
Yeah, except for like, no way.
We'll talk about that later. But
She sort of just
yeah,
shakes her head like, later.
Liam's working on a new album that I'm helping him with. We're collaborating on writing some songs, and I'm gonna sing with him and do some backup vocals and stuff. Because I sing too. I'm pretty good at it.
That'll be great. My talents, as you can guess, are more computer generated.
I don't. I, I think that's like the one thing that all glass workers have in common is that they have some sort of computer affinity. I don't think that if they didn't have that they would be glasswalker. So
That's true. That's very true.
uh oh she's not here, but you'll have to meet my pack mate, Sky. She's the opposite of you. She was born into glasswalker family and
Oh
went to
right,
the army.
great. I was told about her.
She's the Sep Beta's daughter. Her name's Sky Murray. She's an Arun as well.
Well, that'll be some meeting.
It will be.
I'm looking forward to it.
She doesn't like hate the glasswalkers or anything, but they just weren't for her.
Right. I may be a glass walker. I may have chosen that life because that's what and who I am. But I've always considered myself both Fiona and glass walker. I couldn't take that from my blood any more than I could stop being me.
She smiles. Well, I'm definitely glad to hear that. There are a lot of people that join tribes that they weren't born into, and they completely renounce their blood. So I'm glad to hear that you don't do that. All right, so
I think my mums would have killed me.
she'll nod. So you had two mums.
I mean, not that I wanted to anyway, but I'm just saying. I'd have
So
at least a couple wounds.
you have two mums?
I do. She sort of, her face just sort of falls, you know.
That's great. Um, she actually tears up a little bit. I had a wife once.
Oh, why?
Back when I was in New York, I lived in New York for a while and fell in love with a woman. We got married, and then I lost her to cancer. She had leukemia, and I had no idea.
I'm so sorry.
After that, I couldn't stay in New York. I had to come home.
I'm glad you did.
Me
If it
too.
means anything. And
That was
I look forward to you meeting the mums.
I'd love to meet them, and your sister too.
I once I get established and if the set will let me. I'd like to move them all here.
Oh, of course, I don't see why that would be a problem as long as you stay in good standing and all that. I'd be more than happy to welcome them here. Uh, your mum are your mums both Garu, or that would kind of be against the litany, but hey, she shrugs.
No, one of them is kinfolk.
Oh, thank God. Good, because having to explain that to my mom would be
She chuckles.
all right. What about your sister?
Claire is one of us.
She's
She's
guard.
straight.
What's her tribe?
Her tribe's Fiona, right?
No, her tribe's Black Fury, and her
All right.
mom's and Justine's Black Fury kinfolk.
All right. Claire is a Black Fury, like her mum.
Oh, okay. Oh, that would actually be really nice. We have a few Black Furies that just recently showed up, and so that would be kind of nice to have a couple of more.
That's really good to hear.
So
Just nod.
if I can help you in any way, let me know. But yeah, so should we go
Sim's
inside?
just she's answering and she's engaging in like the conversation, but it does seem like she's got a heavy heart.
Yeah, Saoirse can sense that whatever news she has, it's not good. So she's kind of stalling a little bit, like, but she's also like, Saoirse's also nervous, which Sim can kind of tell that she's a bit nervous. And she's one of those people that when she gets nervous, she kind of doesn't shut up.
And Sim's happy to just know anything about Saoirse other than the fact that she exists.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I come home and I grew up with I kind of grew up with Finn. Liam had already and went out and started his career, so I didn't know him all that well until he come back home after his last tour and wanted to stay for a while. So we got to know each other better, and he's in my pack now. But anyway, Finn, he was there for me, and we just kind of fell for each other and we got married. He helped heal my heart, I think.
I'm glad you had someone who could be there for you.
Me too.
If I could have, I would have been around for that too.
She nods. Thank you. It's not a pain that I wish on anyone to lose their spouse.
I've never I've never been married before or anything. Just
Well,
mostly concentrated on my job and trying to.
well, there's definitely no rush, no matter what anybody says. Okay, you don't have to rush into nothing.
Or I don't think anyone could push me into anything I didn't want to be in. They're welcome to try.
She just kind of grins, like, yep, that's definitely an O'Brien mindset. um, that's yeah, you are my sister.
I mean, have you looked in the mirror lately? I don't think we could be mistaken for anything else.
Uh, you know, I couldn't really, put my finger on it. You know, I guess we're a little similar.
Sim
Chuckle.
blinks and just, smiles and shakes her head.
I think about one of the only differences is that my eyes are a little bit greener than yours.
I've got that for my mum.
You'll see where I get mine from when you meet my mom. My mom has very green eyes. Ada, not so much. His are more of an olive colored green, not the more, I guess, what would you call this? Emerald? She kind of like looks in the rearview mirror of the car, looking at her eyes.
Sort of chuckles. Call it whatever you like. They're your eyes.
She just shrugs, like, I don't know what color to call them, what shade.
That's what you want. Forest green, emerald green. It's all green, man.
No, they're different shades. You don't. They're different.
Sim just blinks, and this is about the time that she's like, she sort of shrugs. I mean, she's got that side of the wolf, so a lot of the different shades sort of held together anyway.
Wolfsight just it just lets you see better in the dark. It doesn't like take away from any colors.
The description I read says it muted some of the other colors.
No, okay.
Like they're not. It's not that I don't see them. They're just kind of muted. So I would imagine different shades of dark green just looks like dark green.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair for sure. Most people aren't going to pick out the subtle differences either. This is just Saoirse being extra, and she has a cute vision. So,
a cute vision with wolf vision. This will be great.
I know, right? She has a cute vision, and she's just extra. So, and her phone goes off, and she looks at it. And Mom's knows that we're here and asks why we're not inside yet.
Tell her the interior of the car is fascinating.
She laughs. I'm gonna tell her that. She texts back.
Sorry.
And a couple of seconds later, phone goes off.
Sim just sort of covers her mouth and tries to keep from chuckling.
Her eyes go a little wide. She's like, "Uh-oh," she sent me back a message all in caps. I guess we better go in.
Well, I mean, the longer we wait, do you think she'll start putting more and more exclamation points at the end, or will it just become more sentences in all caps with exclamation? Like, how angry is this?
Oh, no, it would be if we don't get in there within the next 30 seconds, she's going to come out here and open the car door and take us in there herself.
Well, then I guess I better go. And she grabs her backpack. I don't feel like fighting someone else's mum because I don't want to get out of the car.
You don't want to fight my mom.
No, I don't. I really don't. Because if she tries to make me get out of a car, I'll just decide that I don't want to get out of a car, and it'll be a thing.
Mom is the truth catcher for the set.
Great. She opens the car door.
Saoirse opens hers too and gets out.
As they walk up, Sim's smile just sort of fades. It does seem like she's more eased in Saoirse's presence.
That's good. Saoirse will sense that a little bit, and she place a hand on her shoulder.
Sim will look at her and sort of be reminded of her sister at home.
Whatever it is, you're not alone.
Thank you. She just sort of nods.
And then she will open the door and push open. And they will walk in, and there's a room full of people. And I will just kind of like Saoirse's gonna take her probably around to like each individual person to introduce them, and that way I can throw up their picture overlay so that you and other people can see what they look like, and then I'll put
Right.
whoever will do the majority of the speaking. I'll probably put Collins up for the rest of but anyway. So yeah, there's a room full of people. There's a lot of Irish people in this room.
Oh, there's so many.
So
Sim
many.
just looks across these faces that she's never met before, but still seem vaguely familiar, just from similarities of family. And her eyes get a little wide, like, this is actually happening. I'm here. I'm doing this. And there's a moment of, oh God, so many people.
Yeah.
And
So
there's
this
this wish in like inner wish of hers that she like in her comfy computer chair in front of her computer playing some sort of retro game that she loves and has an emulator for, because of course she has an emulator. And she's just a flash of that before she's like, just takes a deep breath and steels herself.
So the first person that is gonna kind of greet them is gonna be Saoirse's mom, because she's the one that Saoirse's been texting with and is kind of closest to the door, because she was actually about to walk out of it to come outside. And she has a very commanding presence, and she has the same green eyes as Saoirse. And she'll put an arm around Saoirse. She'll say, I see you finally decided to come in and join us. Is this her? Saoirse will nod. And
the dashboard was shaped so nicely, I just couldn't.
oh yeah, that sedan is quite the car, isn't it? She's like, what the fuck?
Sim just sort of gets this mischievous little smirk on her face, and she's like, well, once I was in, it was love at first sight. I mean, and she just takes it.
She gets.
I couldn't tear my eyes away from the gray and beige.
Destiny will crack a smile and she'll say, well, I am Aileen, but you can just call me Destiny, and we're going to be very informal because we're at home, but I'll let you know I am the truth catcher for the sept. Athro, Fiona, Philodox, blah, blah, blah. She just kind of like waves her hand, like, whatever. The person that you need to meet right now is over there. And I will take you over to him.
Sim just sort of takes a deep breath in and nods her head. All right. She's pretty sure that she's about to be introduced to her dad.
Yep. Yeah, and she'll walk Sim over, Saoirse following behind, but keeping a bit of a respectful distance. Sim will notice that she'll go and stand next to this man, and kind of take his hand, and there's a small redheaded girl that looks just like the both of them, standing bashfully behind Finn. But as soon as she sees her mother, she runs up to her, and Saoirse will scoop her up.
Sim just sort of nods to him, like she's been told who he is, but doesn't know, obviously.
right? But he, Finn doesn't speak up or anything because he knows that she's about to meet Colin. So she's like, he's just like, he kind of mouths to her, "We'll talk later."
Sim just sort of just gives that nod. You're like, yeah.
Saoirse shakes her head and smiles just a little bit. But yeah, Destiny leads her over to Colin, and Colin just kind of stands up, and he has tears in his eyes.
Sim sort of swallows hard and almost at a loss for words, she looks at him and she says, "How's it going, Da?"
Um, well, it's going okay. Uh, honestly,
She's got
never.
unshed tears that just fill her eyes.
Yeah, he has tears too. And, honestly, as soon as she says "da," he like tears will spill a little bit. Destiny will just sit down, and everybody else tries not to stare at them, but they're all in a room together, so they all get to
Right.
witness this.
And Sim is the center of attention. Wee!
I know, right? It's great. Um,
Center of attention, an introvert is. Yay.
uh, he just opens his arms to her.
She wraps her arms around his and he looks she just doesn't say anything and she squeezes him hard and she actually starts like really crying.
He holds her and goes, "Hey, uh,
I'm sorry.
I've got you. No, no, don't be sorry. It's okay. I've got you." And he just kind of like strokes her hair and does have a very fatherly demeanor to him, like he's just being dad. I'm sorry that uh, I'm sorry I didn't get to see you grow up.
No, it's alright. I get it. I do. You just
You've
you
had
look
a
so much like him.
my brother.
She nods. She can't even say yes.
He kind of like takes a bit of a deep breath and he says, he just says very, very softly, "Is that why you're here?"
She sniffles and sort of forces herself to take a step back. And she looks at all of their faces, but she really she's mostly talking to Colin. And she says, um, for those of you who don't know, I have a little brother named Corin Moreau, and
Saoirse's just she takes another deep breath and she squeezes Finn's hand.
right, uh, there was. She sort of clears her throat and she seems to grasp hold of this thread, the thread that sort of seems to ground her, like the thread that really grounds most Fiona, their anger.
Mm-hmm.
There was a black spiral dancer attack on our set. I have, I cannot, I cannot prove it, but I know that the alpha of my former pack was responsible for the death of Corin.
There's like a collective gasp from everyone in the room, but Colin just he just stares at her, his jaw dropped and tears coming out of his eyes.
I've come to the set days after his official funeral because I cannot and I will not reside in the set that believes that they are good individuals. They are not the monsters that they are. It is my intention to move both my mums and my sister here and to seek vengeance for Corin.
So there's a silence for a moment.
She sort of just collects herself, corrects herself to seek justice.
Yeah. Destiny nods.
And Mum went into Toronto.
Oh no.
She just nods.
He really starts crying.
She wraps her arms back around him and she's crying.
And Saoirse's crying because she was in Toronto for a while, so she knows how that is and how hard that is to come back from. There's just everyone's in the room is solemn.
I want to meet you all on much better terms, but you all deserve to know.
Colin will hold her. Thank you for coming and letting us know, and for saying that you want to stay, because I would really love to get to know you. Sorry about Corin and your mom. We need to get her here so that we can help her.
Sim just nods and she says, "My sister and my other mum are there. They're there, making sure they're trying to take care of her. And they're also there to try to collect more information. I cannot and I will not stand by as those people could potentially do this to another family, or potentially has already."
So she feels a soft hand on her shoulder. And when she looks up, she sees this man.
She looks up and she sees him, and she does notice him as the Sept Alpha, and she sort of bows her head, that traditional training and all.
Yeah, and he just smiles very softly, and she can tell that he's very respectful and solid, and that all of this has saddened him. And he says, as informal as I'd like to be, I do have to say, as Alpha of the Sept of Forgotten Stories, that you, of course, and your family are welcome here.
Thank you. I never meant to bring this to your doorstep, but not only is it an affront to our family, it's an affront to the nation.
N- no, yes, of course. It's just a spirals attacking again is definitely something to be concerned about. We've had some rumors of spiral activity here as well. So we retook this cairn from the spirals only a few years ago. So we'd like to keep that from happening again.
Sim nods.
But as far as your pack,
She
we
gets
can
sort
get
of a hardened edge to her jaw, like it still really stings. The loss of her pack and her pack link is still pretty fresh.
yeah. Um, we'll do whatever we can to figure out what to do with them. If your sept won't do anything, then maybe we can. But we have to go through proper channels and prove it.
She nods. I understand. That's part of the reason why my sister's still there.
And Destiny over here, when that does come up, will preside over everything, as she has not only the truth catcher for this sept, but she was the truth catcher at Tara. So, and Bron McFadden still reveres her as the best Philodox in the nation. He looks at her playfully, like the only reason he doesn't see me as that is because we've had a squabble.
She sort of smiles at him and she looks between the two and with a very serious look on her face. She says, I've heard of the two of you as the best Philodoxes in the nation.
He smiles softly. He nods, and so does she. That's honestly quite compliment. Uh, I appreciate that you've heard of us that way.
I want to help the sept in any way I can, especially if it means making sure it never falls into the hands of the spiral dancers ever again. She gets sort of a hardened look to her eye.
Well, we definitely need all hands on deck. What's your auspice, lass?
I am an Odrune.
Oh, good. We need more of those.
Sort of just gives him a little half smile.
Now, I know that these were not the best circumstances for you to meet your family and extended family. The Donovans and the O'Briens are, we have been friends for a very long time. And, you know, your he points over to Saoirse and Finn. Those two made it official that we would be linked forever and ever. He grins to the two of them.
She smiles and just sort of nods to the two of them.
This here is my fucking son. Other one, Liam. Liam just kind of sheepishly smiles and gives a little wave. Uh, and he goes, "Hello."
She nods to him and says, hello, the name's Sim Throwback. Throw.
Throwback, huh?
She chuckles. She sort of
What?
just nods her head and you can see the Space Invader's backpack.
He points at the backpack. That is fucking awesome.
Oh, there's so much more where that came from. I have my Dreamcast set up now.
Oh, we're gonna fucking hang out. I'll bring the beer.
She chuckles a little bit. It's a sad chuckle, but you know, it's still good.
Mm-hmm. I am Liam Donovan, known as Dances on Edge. He kind of like glances at his father.
Oh,
Um,
definitely heard of you. I've got I mean, I paid for them, but I've got some downloads of a couple of your albums.
well, if you want the rest of them for free, just let me know. I'll give them to you.
She blinks. I'll let my sister know that.
Is she a big fan?
I'm not going to out her, right?
Oh my. Well, I am a ragabash of the nation. I'm only an Adrian because I choose to be. I don't much care for ranking up too much. Uh,
She's
and
just like that.
and as you know, I'm kind of at least in Ireland a big deal. I don't know about the rest of the world. I've been on a few European tours. I want to go to the US at some point, but he shrugs.
She shrugs. I've never been, but I heard it is quite the interesting place.
I went to Canada once. That didn't work out too well. And Kieran just shakes his head and was like, mm-mm.
Well, that sounds like a story over beer.
I'll tell you sometime. And then Nathan will kind of step forward. He's been a little bit reserved and just kind of waiting. And he'll say, "Hi, I'm Nathan O'Brien. I'm your cousin."
It's good to meet you. Sim. Full name Symphony, but I prefer Sim.
That's fair. I go by Nate. Um,
Nods.
I'm a Thyurge. I'm DiD Stag's Pride. When you see me in the Umber, I've got some antlers. I look a lot like Stag. Uh, and I'm the keeper of the land. So if you ever need anything spiritually and need to know anything spiritually about the sept, or you want to visit shrines or whatever, I'm your guy.
She nods. I'll keep that in mind. If,
And I'm an Adrian.
if, if you ever, you know, you need anything, if there's ever anything that I can do, I'm an online tech support, so
Sometimes, yeah, I'm kind of technologically challenged, so
I
uh,
can help.
our our Arun, who is not here, uh, kind of begrudgingly helps me with that stuff, but she would prefer not to um, engage in that type of thing. She joined the Fiona to get away from that, apparently. And we have so me and Saoirse and Liam are in a pack, and we have got two other pack mates that are not here. Uh, we've got Sky, who, who I was just telling you about, and then Bailey. He's our Philodox. He's a Shadow Lord. He's broody. I'm gonna shut up now, and he steps back.
It's, it's good to meet. I'm sorry. It's really good to meet you. I'll look forward to getting to know all of you a lot more.
He nods. Um, I guess in a way you could say that through just my pack, we're kind of connected to everyone in the sept. It's weird. Uh, anyway, yeah. Good to meet you, cousin. and I look forward to getting to know you better as well. And that he will just go and fucking sit down. And he's kind of blushing because he's nervous and embarrassed, and um, definitely tell that he prefers to like be in the Ember with his spirits rather than anything else. um, and Colin will look back to her.
She just sort of looks back to him.
He takes her hands and squeezes them. Do you need a place to stay?
Uh, I'm in the process of getting an apartment, but I don't have any place to stay just yet.
Oh, you can stay here. We've got extra rooms. And Destiny nods in agreement, like, yeah, of course, they would never. And you stay as long as you want. You don't need to get an apartment but I understand if you want to. It's fine. But
My
you can stay.
pinball machine need a place to live.
We have a garage.
She chuckles.
Destiny kind of raises an eyebrow, like, pinball machine.
Sim specifically said machines, as in multiple.
Oh, multiple. Colin will say, how many pinball machines you got?
I've only got like 2 or 3, depending on. I mean, okay, I've got 3, all right? And she just sort of like gets all embarrassed a little bit.
So he kind of like starts pointing around silently.
I'm
So
bringing them back. They're going to get big again. I'm going to make them great again.
you're going to make pinball machines great again? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm telling you, they're already great, and I just need to make everyone else believe it again.
I mean, I was always down to play pinball at the arcade, so
See, there you go. Good head start, and she's like making like she's trying to be funny, but she's just like, haha, I'm nervous, so I'm gonna be funny instead.
um I mean, we've got plenty of room for you and whatever stuff you have. If you'd like to stay, you can. If you want to get your own place, you can. I'm not going to stop you from that, but um
I'd like to stay at least a little while, if that's alright.
of
I'd like
course.
to get to know all of you, but I'd really like to get to know you better.
I'd like to get to know you too.
So I'm just nodding.
We'll do what we can to get justice for Corin.
She nods.
No,
If there's anything, I mean, you and I should sit down and talk about it.
I'd like that.
He and I were particularly close.
I remember seeing the two of you only a couple of times before you moved uh, down to wherever. What was it, outside of Wexford or something?
Sim nods.
Uh, and then just kind of lost touch. Tove would contact us here and there, but He shrugs. I was never particularly worried about you being taken care of because I knew that
She
you had
smiled. Oh,
two.
the nuns are great.
Yeah, I knew you had two pretty good parents. So, but I do wish that I had been around a bit for you and Corin, but I had uh I had that one. My hands full with her. Saoirse
Uh,
just kind of
yeah.
blushes and nods like, yeah, she was a handful.
Oh, believe me, my own mums had their hands full between the three of us.
I can imagine. We just had Saoirse and we fostered a mess for a little while.
Between between Fiona Blood and Black Fury, you can guess what our house was like.
I could guess what your fights were like. Oh my god.
Epic.
How
A lot
how
of
often how
house.
often did you how often did you throw down?
We don't like to talk about that.
I bet not.
She chuckles. We threw down, but Corin was always there. He was the heart, you know.
He was a mediator, wasn't he?
He was the one who didn't mind, no matter how mad you were. He'd walk up with your favorite drink or a new game or your favorite kind of dessert and just sit with you, smile on his face no matter how mad you are, no matter what happened. He just loved you no matter what.
Destiny will look to Colin. Sounds a lot like you. Colin will nod. Does. Um, and Colin will motion for Saoirse to come over, and she will. And he'll put an arm around her and say, "I'm sorry we didn't tell you. I wasn't sure if we'd ever have the chance to see them, to know them, and I didn't want to put any more stress on you than you were already under. I'm sorry." She just nods and gives him a hug. And then Saoirse pulls Sim in for a hug between the three of them.
At first, it's a little bit awkward because she's used to being all females and having like a guy,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of weird, but it's kind of like a good weird because he smells like her dad. You know, he's got a very
Yeah.
fatherly presence, and so it's very comforting and in a
And
time when he desperately needs comfort.
she can tell that the energy is similar to her brother as well.
Which probably only makes her cry more, but that's fine. She just
Yeah.
hugs them both back.
Mm-hmm. Um yeah, Saoirse's not holding anything against anyone. It's just the way it is sometimes. Um but I think with that we can probably go ahead and call this scene.
I would agree. A nice family hug and Sim getting acquainted and putting her stuff down.
Yep.
Probably dazzling Liam with an old school Walkman and Game Boy.
Oh my god, he's gonna love it. Yes. Um, so yeah, with that, we will go ahead and end this scene. Thank you, player, for playing, and thank you, watchers, for watching. We will see you next time. Goodbye.